Warning. The media that is about to play will contain graphic and foul language, but is intended to be entertaining. The opinions shared here may not be shared by everyone, or may even be just for laughs. If you are easily offended, don't have a sense of humour, have your head up your ass fighting for air, love patting yourself on the back because you are lonely and don't have a life, or you don't attempt to be a good person, this isn't for you. Everyone else, please try and have fun, and as always, stay creative.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bryan SilverBax podcast. I am Bryan SilverBax. Dun, 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 dun. And with me, as always, is the Linda Hamilton to my Arnold Schwarzenegger, J.R. Mounts.
I'm always the girl.
It's my fucking show. But
right,
so...
look, I'll be Linda Hamilton, but I want to be T2 Linda Hamilton. Not T1 Linda Hamilton.
Oh, you don't want to be a scared little weep?
Yeah, I don't want to be a little pop girl. Like, come on, Reese.
All right. So today, we're going to be discussing in spoilery detail, if that happens to be the case, Terminator Dark Fates.
Yeah, and just to remind you, again, this is a spoilery show. We're going to talk about the ending, crucial moments. We're going to give shit away because we want to talk about this.
Thank you, Dad. Y'all stick around.
I feel we got to
shut up.
People.
I got to tell him to cut to the break. Y'all stick around. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
All right, so I finally got a chance to go out and see the James Cameron approved sequel to Terminator 2.
All right, yeah. Terminator Dark Fate.
Yes. Now, I watched this movie with Amos, and I didn't know until after the movie that this is there's supposed to be no other Terminator movies between T2 and this one.
Yeah, this is essentially T3 for our...
See, so I watched it. When I was watching it, I was like, what the fuck? Some of the shit didn't make sense to me because I was still believing those other ones were canon.
Well, and quite honestly, look, it's a Terminator movie, and it's always time travel. So all we have to know is, in the placement of this timeline, it follows T2. That's fine.
Yeah. So, I enjoyed it.
I gotta say, I saw it and I loved it.
I think
it did not do well in the theater.
Well, no, here's what it didn't do. Not a lot of people went to see it.
Yeah.
But nobody has said anything bad about it.
Yeah, because let's just say, it cost $196 million to make. It grossed $234 million to date. So that's not doing well by Hollywood standards.
No. And I think it's simply because the asses aren't going out there.
Yeah. However, if you were to try to gauge how many times it's probably been illegally downloaded, well, there's probably a lot of people who have seen this movie and just never paid for it.
Yeah.
I will say, let's see what the DVD does.
Well, I understand why no one went to see it, though.
Gun shy.
They've been burned so many times. Yeah. And as much as I like Terminator Genesis, I'm in the minority.
Yeah, I liked Genesis just fine too.
I thought Genesis felt like a great way to recover the football.
Yeah, me too.
It did not feel like the best Terminator movie that it didn't feel like a great Terminator movie.
No.
But it felt like they did the best with what they had to try to
Arnold was good.
To fix things.
Arnold was good in it. We had some homages. I did not like what's her name as Sarah Connor.
I didn't mind her. I think she looked like a young Linda Hamilton.
She looked like, I just didn't like the way she acted. She was fine. But that being said, you're either a fan of the series or you're not. And quite honestly, Terminator 1 and 2, they are like Alien and Aliens. They are Predator. They are movies that stand above all of the sequels because they're just good all by themselves. So as far as the series goes, look, they stand alone. They are perfect movies.
But I understand why no one went to see this one because they're like, I saw the last one, I didn't like it.
Right.
I saw the one before that, I didn't like it. I saw the TV show, didn't like it.
I saw that. And keep in mind, every time these new Terminator projects have been announced, they always say, oh yeah, we're going to go right back into the original, and we're going to, they're always talking about how they're going to link this series into the others and carry off. And unfortunately, they drop the ball a lot of times. But I've enjoyed all of the Terminators in different levels. I still think the Sarah Connor Chronicles and T3 are the weakest of the group.
Well, I have a very unpopular opinion.
Okay.
and I don't say this to start shit, but Terminator 2 is hard to watch, man.
How is that? How can you say that?
Because Edward Furlong is
he's terrible. He's the Jake. What's his name? Something Jake from
I don't know,
from Phantom Menace.
That
little
Jake
kid.
Long or whatever.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd. Yeah, he's terrible.
So
he's terrible.
I was really jazzed. I was like, you know what? I haven't watched in a while, and this was before I went to go sit. Like it was just like a month ago.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I need to watch Terminator 2. I ain't watched that in a while. And then Edward Furlong got on there, and he started quote-unquote acting.
Yeah, he's terrible.
I was like, holy... He is terrible.
All right, but if we're going to talk about acting, Mark Hamill in Star Wars is no Oscar-winning prize either.
No, but...
I want to get some power converters.
Well,
He's a whiny little bitch.
I've never sucked the Star Wars dick either, so...
Oh. I'm just saying, like, we forgive bad acting after we've seen something so many times because we gloss over that. Well, we go for Arnold. Come on.
I know.
Dropping of the roses and the of the shotguns.
It's bad, though. Damn, Edward Furlong is
he's terrible.
Really, like, you have to, I really have to work hard. Like, I didn't finish it. Edward Furlong is hard to work past.
No, he's terrible.
I mean, I've seen it before many times. But I was watching it again to, like, get that old... Like, I remember this being good. And then, like, oh, shit. Like, the older I'm getting, the less good I think that acting is.
I agree with you on that one. But I also think there's some sacred movie moments in 1 and 2 that we cannot deny.
There certainly is.
One, it created a franchise that is, to this day, one of the best sci-fi franchises in history.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to you. I'm not dogging it. You're definitely welcome to have a stupid opinion.
And I'm not.
No, I'm serious. No, everybody is open to have their opinions. I think it's great because look, you liked Genesis, whereas a lot of people did not. I enjoyed Genesis.
I did. It's not like I liked Genesis. I thought Genesis was well crafted.
Agreed.
In story, trying to pick up the fumble.
Yeah, I can't
didn't think
watch
it's as
her
bad
acting.
as everybody thought it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was nearly as bad as everybody. And I also liked Terminator Salvation for what it was. Because you got Christian Bale in it, man. I mean, he was fucking awesome.
I didn't even remember him being in it.
Yeah, he was. Well,
I just remember Sam Wentworth or some shit.
Yeah, he's a weak actor. That guy.
He was like he's like a half-Z or something, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was like a Terminator that thought he was human. Basically, it was showing that it could adapt.
All right, so.
But now that said, we've gone through all the Terminator movies.
Right, well,
let's finally get back.
Well, let's get into let's talk about the setup.
Okay.
Tim Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie,
and Thor 2. All right, and Scott Pilgrim. This guy has got some serious cred behind him.
Tim Miller did Thor 2?
He did Thor 2, Dark World, yes.
He also directed that?
He directed that. He also directed Girl with the Dragon Tattoo for USA, all right, the U.S. version.
Yeah.
And come on, let's not forget that he did Scott Pilgrim, too. So this dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he makes some entertaining shit.
I like him. I like Tim Miller's work.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I was excited to hear that he would be doing this movie. And this one is also championed by James Cameron.
Yep. He produced it and he also wrote the story. Not the screenplay, but he also wrote the story.
And so...
This is as close to T3 that we're going to get from a James Cameron. I'm telling you. Well, I'm putting them together, brother.
And this is the first one that Linda Hamilton has decided to be a part of. Because if I'm not mistaken, Linda Hamilton was approached for some of the other sequels, but turned them down because good old Jamesy boy wasn't going to be a part of them.
Well, because she also knew that, look, if anybody's going to do Terminator right, it's going to be James Cameron.
Yeah.
You may have Arnold in all these movies, but Arnold's been mishandled in a lot of other shit, too. Mm-hmm. And having Arnold in a Terminator movie brings a certain amount of asses to the seats, but it does not guarantee the film is going to be T3, exactly. 1, 2, James Cameron's third, but it does guarantee you're going to like it a certain amount. We love seeing Arnold kicking ass. But I will say that having her a part of it gave this a whole bit of legit.
Yeah, it did say, all right, dude. And I thought that would have brought more people to the movie theater.
Me too.
We've got the name Cameron. We've got Hamilton. We've got Schwarzenegger.
You got Miller attached as a director.
Yeah, and they dropped Deadpool. They dropped Deadpool in the trailer to like, hey, Deadpool fans, This is the guy that directed that movie you liked,
Well,
and it still wasn't
David
enough.
Goyer also wrote the screenplay based on this.
He's hit or miss, man.
Yeah, but look at what he was hit with. The whole entire Dark Knight trilogy, Blade
Yeah,
1 and 2.
but fucking
we will not talk about.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, I know. I don't bring that one up. Freddy and Jason.
Yeah, I thought that was well written.
Right, that was. I mean, for the screenplay.
No, I really do. I do like David
attached
Goyer's work.
Was pretty fucking great. And okay, we also need to mention in the first two classic movies. Yeah, you can do that because I'm mentioning the music. In the first two movies, right? Brad Fiedel wrote that iconic electronic theme score. Right, it's important that it's electronic because all he had was those 80s like Casios or whatever. Now,
the synthesizer.
But in
you
90s,
feel like Ross.
But in 90 he had the chord synthesizer. Jug, 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 jug. It was like the 80s theme song on steroids.
Yeah.
All right. So in the subsequent Terminator movies, we've had different composers, and they've usually done it thematic. We had Danny Elfman, we had Ennio Morricone, I believe. I can't remember if it was Morricone or not. But in this one, we have Tom Holkenborg, who is also known as Junkie XL.
Oh, yes.
So for those who had ever
seen... He also did Deadpool.
Yep. And Mad Max Fury Road, bitches.
Ooh, I think they've actually started production on the new one.
Now, he's also attached to Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman and Deadpool. Okay,
I like those.
So this guy he's kind of like the modern day electronica score master, right?
Yeah.
So he's like the Brad Fiedel of today. He handles the score chores in this, and let me tell you, man, the motherfucker knows.
Nailed it.
Yeah, man, it was good to listen to.
All right.
So we haven't
even started talking about the movie yet.
No.
I mean, this is all good
or
stuff.
Or the cast, as far as the extenuating cast, the extras.
I don't know if I recognize any of the other cast by name.
You only know the guy who's playing the we'll call him the bad Terminator, Gabriel Luna.
Oh yeah, he's the Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider on Heroes, or was it Heroes? Not
no,
Heroes.
It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, that's right. He's serviceable. He's actually very good.
Yes.
And they make him kind of like an homage to the old T2 bad guy, the T.
I don't even know if did he even say word. I guess he did say a couple of words, but he didn't. He wasn't much on the words.
He was like, "Oh, hey, my whole body's a weapon," So I mean, it was short on dialogue, but he had a good look. It was like passive. He looks a little passive, but when he gets aggressive, you believe he's strong. But and Natalie Reyes is okay as a side character; she's all right. But the one who really deserves it is Mackenzie Davis. She is the hybrid. She is the augmented human in this story.
She's our good guy.
She is our fucking good guy in this one, and she has an intensity that I'm like,
I don't like that bowl haircut she had, though.
Yeah, I know.
That haircut was not flattering
at all. It worked
for
me fine, but I didn't have to be attracted to her, which I'm glad.
Wanted to be.
I didn't want to be attracted. But she has done, she did Blade Runner 2049 as a side character.
Oh, I like that. I need to rewatch that one.
Yeah, it's good. And for anybody who watches the series Black Mirror, which is kind of like a sci-fi
I
Twilight Zone.
love Black Mirror.
Okay, do you remember the episode San Junipero where this?
That's one of my favorite episodes.
Okay, she's the geek girl.
Yes, that's
She's
one
fantastic.
of my favorite
Mine
episodes.
Mine too.
The two girls, they go in there, they be lesbians together.
But yet they're actually older.
Yes.
It's fantastic. She's a Canadian actress, and I will say, and I like the dialogue in this movie a lot. Like I will fuck you up, she says to Linda Hamilton at one point. And she has a great intensity in this movie, and she is very watchable. So
yes.
I will say, I knowing that, after seeing the trailer, I was pretty much like everybody else. Oh, here we go. Another fucktard T2 movie wanted to do this shit. It's fucking stupid. But because we, again, like you said, we'd all been burned. I'm a supporter of the T movies, but they ebb and flow. Not one of them reaches T2. We get that. And neither can they. But can they be entertaining as a movie all by themselves? If I watch this movie by itself without any camera and stuff,
does it stand alone?
Movie good?
Yeah,
right. Without the nods to Arnold and all that shit. And some of them do better than others. But I will say that because they have to link to 1 and 2, all of them kind of fail, in their own right. But they are entertaining.
Now,
this is the first time I would say this is a
before we go into the breakdown, do you feel that this completes the trilogy? Like, is it a nice end cap to the Terminator trilogy.
I don't think so. I don't think this movie felt like that. I think this movie felt like a...
But does it feel good? Like
continuation. I definitely think it's the best it's been. This is the best Terminator movie we've had since T2.
So it feels like, what I'm saying is, does it feel like Terminator 1, 2, and this one feel like a set? Like, does it feel...
I didn't feel like it was an ending at all, but I definitely feel...
Well, it can't be. The ending was like, we're washing our hands of the whole John Connor stuff.
You know what?
We got this new thing.
What I think this movie really was, it was a way to say, here's how you make a fucking Terminator movie, idiots.
Yeah,
and
stop fucking relying on the John Connor bullshit.
Yeah, and which is an interesting, as we talk about the movie, that is the first movie that's gone off that rail. It follows a brand new track and says, you guys can be writing anything. And if James Cameron says that in his book, or in his story, you're like, oh, you mean we didn't have to? Oh.
Yeah, but we're not good writers. We're just trying to suck the teeth.
The thing is, they're fan arting the movie. You know, they're always going back to Arnold, always going back to John, always going back to Sarah. And you don't need that. If you've got a great story, what a great villain the Terminator is. Yeah. But also what a great anti-hero a reprogrammed Terminator is.
What do you give it out of 10?
I'd give it a strong 8 for me.
Strong 8? I think I was at an 8.5.
Yeah. Only just because you can't ever read... I mean, 10 is
gave it a
10
7.
is high. Well, that's fair. That's close to 8. I wouldn't have given it any lower than a 7.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like in school, like a 70?
Well, yeah, it's a C, right?
70 is a D.
70 is a D now? Well,
yeah.
Right, they've changed.
70 to 73 is a D.
Requirements when I was a kid. We let a lot of kids out.
But so, with that being said, the opening of this movie was fucking awesome. And unexpected.
Jesus Christ.
I had no idea that this was going to be part of the movie.
Did you not think that, like, oh, wait, they found some old lost footage?
Yeah.
Because that CGI was fucking amazing.
So, for those that, well, I'm hoping you've seen it.
All right, we're going to give this shit away, so just settle in.
The de-aging that they did on Linda Hamilton, and I'm of a firm belief that Edward Furlong was 100% CGI. Like, that dude looks like shit.
They were all CGI. They might have been motion captured at best. But let's just reiterate, the scene we're talking about is basically... picks up directly after
a week
T2.
After T2.
They're in, so Linda's 1992 age.
Yeah, Sarah and John
is still a kid.
Are in the Bahamas having just avoided Judgment Day, and he looks the exact same from T2.
Yeah, he does.
Which is not the truth.
Right.
So, and Linda Hamilton doesn't seem to have a wrinkle on her face.
Yeah, no.
She's
still got the 90s sunglasses on.
Not true.
Exactly.
But it was really cool because it looked seamless. Like, it looked really, really good. The only problem I had was the Terminator kind of looked janky.
You know what? You know what he kind of looked like to me? I'm like, that looks like Jean-Claude Van Damme. That doesn't look
he
like
looked weird.
Yeah, he looked waxy, and he looked...
Okay, so obviously they had a body double. A real body was there. Like, a real muscle builder was there. Yeah. And they tried to CGI an Arnold
he looked
face.
Bigger than Arnold.
Yes.
Well, yeah, he looked much bigger.
He was ripped.
But that scene, starting off with that scene...
Yeah.
Was ballsy, because it says, this ain't your mama's T2.
Yeah, so right off the rip, we get the... once I worked past the janky-ass Terminator, because I was blown away by the John Connor and the Sarah Connor. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And the Terminator comes up like, is his face weird? And then, Terminator comes up and just straight executes John Connor.
Yeah. Fucking...
And then just walks the fuck away.
Yeah. Talk about a mic drop. Just like, kaboom, and then walks around
that's it.
And walks away.
And then the next thing you know, we're like, it says, 25 years later or some shit. Yeah. And then that's when we see the naked hybrid girl, our hero, fall through the
her
thing.
Naked body didn't work for me, but the idea was fantastic.
Yeah, well, they covered up all the titties and shit, but
you can't cover up a board, dude. I mean, I'm just saying.
Whatever. All right, so she shows up naked, and that begins our story, and then we immediately get to see. She's a badass.
She's kick-ass. So
it's
we're thinking
almost like she's a Terminator because she's throwing shit around and fucking dudes up and stealing clothes.
But she's speaking as a human. So she's like, oh, get the fuck out of my way. So we know she's acting like a human, but she's moving and executing like a
and
Terminator.
has the strength of a Terminator.
Yeah. But she's not killing anyone. She's just kicking ass. So we know that there is something up with this, which is interesting because I love how it plays with the template of Terminator, but it shows us something different.
Because at this point in the movie, we don't know if she's tracking him down.
Right.
Because honestly, I not knowing that this was the only sequel, I was like, oh, so Arnold is going to be Pops from...
Right, I thought that too.
From the last movie.
Yeah, because we knew he was in it.
Yeah.
I was thinking he was going to be the scientist that created the Terminator.
Oh, and he was the one that molded him after?
I was thinking, because he's old, I thought, okay, because if he's not Pops, then I'm thinking he's like a scientist.
Yeah, so, and then...
Which I'd still love to see that, by the way.
I don't remember like the story. So if you want to pick it up from there, or just because I have things I want to talk about, but I don't want to sit there and play by play the whole movie.
All right, we'll give everybody we'll give our favorite highlights. But the basis of the story is this augmented human, all right, has been sent to protect a character, a female character,
Danny,
that's right.
Which is Daniela or something like that.
Yeah, she's in Mexico, all right?
Yes, Mexico
So she
City.
is a Mexican resident, and she now is the one who has to be saved.
Well, and they also, at the very beginning, they showed a disdain for robots,
right?
Because her and her brother work at a factory,
right?
And
a machine shop,
and her brother is losing his job and been replaced by a robotic arm, and she's like, fucking machines, and then she goes in there and pleads for the job. So I thought that was it's kind of on the nose, but it's okay.
In a decent way.
It's okay.
All right. Because there are moments in this movie that are very girl power, which, again, I don't like to have PC shit shoved down my throat, but if it's
this
well
didn't
written,
feel that way.
No. So Danny is
she's the John Connor of this.
She's the Sarah Connor.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And the interesting thing is, so we get introduced.
That's what we think anyway. We know that somehow she's being guarded and sought out. We don't know why.
So much like T1 and T2, all right, we know that this girl is the one that Mackenzie Davis's character is looking for, until we see the other Terminator.
Grace is the female protector.
She's badass. Until we see the ball, the future sphere open up in midair of a complex in Mexico.
Yeah.
And there's Gabriel Luna's character, the T whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Now we automatically know that he is the killer dude, Terminator, because he starts killing people.
Yeah.
So now we know the setup. All right, good person, augmented. For some reason, we don't know. We think it's a Terminator. And then clearly evil, hybrid, liquid Terminator, both looking for this Danny person. And the action is great. And then
car chases.
Very Cameron. It felt very Cameron. There was some definite nods.
Well, Tim Miller, I mean, that first Deadpool, the motorcycle chases and shit like that. So he's no stranger to chasing.
Well, what I'm saying, like, you remember in T2, the freeway scene at night, where it's the little bitty truck and
they
the
wanted
gigantic...
to have that moment.
Yeah.
If I remember some of the stuff I saw online, is they wanted to have that moment where the tractor jumps off the bridge and down into the gully,
much like the when he was on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And the truck, that was in the day. So this is in the day, small vehicle, giant truck. Again, classic setups. Tim did a great job. I really think so.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then we get introduced to Sarah Connor when they get into a tight.
Gabriel Luna, the Terminator has tracked them down, and this Terminator has split into two separate Terminators. One is goo-based and one is robot-based.
Yeah, I'd still love to know it's like an exoskeleton exits from his body, but they're both kind of like goo-based.
All right, do you want to go into that? Because I've got some...
Well, we'll talk about that in a sec. I want to get to why we need Sarah Connor.
And then they're about to get their asses whooped by this two Terminators.
Because Grace is shutting down physically.
Apparently her augmentation has a limit, and after you put it into overdrive for so long, she starts tuckering out, and she needs medicines and water.
It's like the equivalent of like when a pro ball player is shot up with an adrenaline. Boom, 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 boom. You're going, but then your body has to recoup.
Well, then you run an 80-yard touchdown. you're the next play. You're on the sideline with the oxygen mask on.
Yeah, and water and towels and.
So this is the equivalent of that. But so she is running at this point. She is running very, very low on juice and like almost dying. I don't know what the fuck. Like they never really explain.
I think she could die
augment if it is and why it's like this. But she's running out of juice. Lead us to believe she's out of juice. There's no way that she can fight off these two Terminators. Well, in rolls Jamie Lee Curtis. Because the whole time I'm watching this is Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween.
Yeah.
That last Halloween movie they did. Yep. I watched this and I couldn't shake that out of my head to save my life.
So I was
grumpy ass old lady that's been preparing for war ever since the first time.
And see, now I want Ripley back because that was like a very Ripley moment too. You know, those are three very strong women, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, Jamie Lee Curtis. You know, fucking
Sarah Connor.
Well, Sarah Connor. I mean, and Ripley. Those are three excellent badass female characters.
Yeah, but I mean. So you took the old Halloween franchise and you said none of those other ones counted.
Right.
And then we bring our older aging star back in the lead role. And that's exactly what Terminator has done. Yep. So maybe fucking Alien can do it too.
I want to see Ripley come back. I do.
But Ripley did kind of jump into that fire with the shit coming out of her chest.
Well, that's what I want to see.
We could do a retcon. That's right. We could just say this is Alien 3.
This definitely shows that we can because
the crowd's there because Halloween was well received.
So was the last few Alien.
No, but I'm saying like the movie that says disregard the other shit.
Right.
So that Halloween was. This one hasn't been well received because just enough people haven't seen it yet.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't think we need to say none of those movies exist because as a Godzilla fan, every fucking Godzilla movie does that. Nothing exists but 54 and us. You know, and then the next one says, nothing exists but 54 and us. So I just think that good writing, the very first 1954 movie.
Oh.
You know, so Godzilla 1 and us, even though there's like 30 fucking Godzilla movies. But what I would like to just reiterate is good writing is good writing. I don't care if it's nothing else exists or the fact that the better challenge is how do I make this one fit into everything else. As a writer in my mind, I found ways to make all that shit fit. It's just the next one. Sarah's come back in this one. Sarah Connor's returned, and I'm okay with all of the movies and this one. And her return is pretty fucking great.
Yeah, she makes a pretty big bang right on her entrance. She comes in, whoops that ass.
She seems a little confident too.
I made note. I think she is the only person in the movie that dropped an F-bomb, and she dropped plenty of them.
Yeah, no, this movie was cuss laden. I was kind of like, I'm okay with that.
They want it to be R. They're trying to make up for the lack of nudity and the lack of blood. Because there wasn't a whole lot of blood in this movie.
No, but there was some pretty bitchin' ass destructive
violence
in this movie. It was pretty great.
But so she busts on the scene and helps them out of the jam. Pushes a big rock on top of the Terminator or whatever.
Fantastic.
Right? Wasn't it a big rock?
Yeah, but it was pinned, but she was also going to do something else to it. You know, something that was supposed to finalize this fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And we never got to see that.
I don't remember that.
She was like, okay, and I got to do one more thing. And she goes down and then it's gone. Because they fucked around too much. So it was interesting.
I think she was going to lay a slug into that cranium.
Well, I don't know if
because she was blasting slugs out of that shotgun.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, blowing big fucking holes. Yeah. You can't do that without a slug.
I love that.
Buckshot ain't doing that.
They brought the artillery back. I love artillery and I love like crashing cars. I love big vehicle crash, like Mad Max. Okay, this movie, fucking T2, great vehicle destruction. I love Demolition Derby. And it brought that. And Tim Miller made it fun, made every frame fun. Having so much done in the daytime and then saving the nighttime stuff for the last half was pretty fucking great. But
Linda Hamilton looked a little rough, though.
She definitely, she is rough. I mean,
how many years? Like,
I wouldn't doubt it, but she looks like
you can look like you can see an old lady or an old man, and somehow you just know that they were a heavy smoker.
I bet
because it's like scales.
My money would be that she's a vegan but smokes, because she has that kind of sinewy thin, but strong look to her. She had that look in T2 as well, like that really overly, muscular but but not meat eating.
It's weird how you can look like a smoker without having to light a cigarette.
You got to see Billy Idol.
You look like, and you know what's weird is my wife continues to smoke. I'm like, babe, you're gonna look like a fucking reptile.
Yeah, because she looks young, but she's not gonna age well if she keeps that up. I mean, nothing against smoking. If you, I've got my own vices,
and nothing against Linda Hamilton. It was off-putting how old she looked, and I think she looks older than she really is what I'm saying.
I do like though that, right? Because of that, she definitely looked like
she embraced it.
She lived hard because her character. Let's just go back. The reason why the first two movies even existed because she was trying to save her son, Yeah,
and what has she been doing since the 23 years?
Yeah. And in 23 years...
After your son got murdered right in front of you.
She's dealt with the death of her son. So, yeah, she's been living hard.
Yeah,
Mexico.
She's probably in the bottle.
If nothing else, I think they might have
drinking herself silly, the character.
Yeah. They might have even aged her more. Like extra pancakey.
Good job.
Accenting her wrinkles, because I think she looked like a hard living woman.
Just someone who has fucking
fuck this
stories to tell.
It's like
each wrinkle is a story.
It's like she lost her son, so now she's just a Terminator hunter. That's all she is.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing this movie
she can't have hunted a whole bunch of them.
Well, remember, she said they sent a bunch of Terminators. And even when Skynet fell, these Terminators still existed.
Well, that's the only way we can explain the current status of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Which also explains why she's allowed to find Terminators. Clearly, there had to be more.
Yeah. All right, so I thought this... I didn't know what to think because when I watched the movie, I thought Pops still existed. And I was like,
sure.
All right. And then I was like, all right, well, this isn't Pops, but...
What Terminator is he then?
The Terminator in T2 just jumped in the lava and gave him a thumbs up. So it's not that one. Him. So I guess it's the one that executed John in the beginning of this movie.
Which they explained that.
Yeah. And then but they never fully explained, whereas in Genesis they explained it, but in this one they did not, how he got to be out of shape and grow a beard.
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming that because the skin is actually organic.
But they never explained it.
No.
In Genesis, they did.
Yeah.
But in this one, they kind of just glazed over like, why don't you look the same? You're a fucking robot, man.
I think it was
Is he eating calories?
It was probably borrowing ideas that have already been put forth in some of the other ones. Like, clearly, because of Genesis, it shows that the skin is an organic matter and it would age.
Yeah, and I believe that, but I don't think you would get out of shape.
I don't know that if it was... Do you think he was...
He wasn't in Terminator shape. Well, he had a belly on him.
Let's just say the exoskeleton, all right, the Terminator doesn't lose shape. But if
but
the
he
body's
doesn't have to eat
fat,
to maintain. How is he getting fat?
He probably eats food in front of his family.
Where does it go?
He ejects it, but I mean, the body still takes.
I don't know.
Look, it's a stretch. It's a stretch,
and it's not like it's a huge deal. But it was a question that was in my head.
Sure. You're overthinking.
I know. All right, so I do have one problem with the movie.
Okay.
And it is the distressed Danny.
Yeah, that was.
So when Danny was apparently
the major female arc character in this one, she's the Sarah Connor that everybody wants to save.
So Danny is turns out to be the one that sent Grace back.
Yeah, which I thought was a really weak motive, I'll be honest with you.
Just because you saved me once, I'll save you. Like, okay, so that aside, here comes my problem. Is they don't really, well, I'll just give you a whole bunch of shit. They don't really explain how the new Rise of Machines works. It's just a new company that's now, instead of Judgment Day by Cyberdyne and Skynet, it's Legion and something else.
Yeah.
And they don't really put an emphasis on why. Like, what is the catalyst that makes it happen? They don't really go into that. They just say, in the future, the world's all fucked up, and it's because of Legion.
They kind of use the Force Awakens motive where, like, basically this was always meant to be.
Yeah, and that's fine, but at least feed the beast. Give me some, like, even though that was taken out, another guy discovered it 3 weeks later or something.
Right.
But, so they didn't do that. They just tell us the future is shit, and machines are running the world. Danny is part of some sort of uprising against the machines, whereas they don't seem to be fully as powerful as like the team that sent the first Terminator guy back.
Yeah.
Michael Biehn, like they don't seem to be quite at that level. And that Danny in the future looked the exact fucking same.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bullshit move.
There was no aging, no nothing, but yet the Grace, the protector, was a younger girl.
I think it would have been smarter to use a different older actress.
An older actress.
Yeah. Because they didn't even attempt to make her look older. It was that
and
was
I was
bad.
like, so I was confused myself. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
And I'll support that too, but I think that the lady playing Danny, Natalie Reyes, she didn't have the Ripley, Sarah Connor attitude. Like, in other words, she just seemed like a chick. And I hate that. I don't mean to sound sexist.
It didn't feel like she had a chip on her shoulder.
Well, it
didn't
feel like. Well, I'll go back to like when we saw Ripley, which is clearly what they're trying to portray her as, like a Ripley character, a Sarah Connor character. The beauty about a Sarah Connor and a Ripley, hell, I'll even go Grace, this by the Mackenzie Davis Terminator in this, or they all have a femininity, they all have a vulnerability to them, yet we believe them that they can be strong too. This actress doesn't seem like she could lift 5 pounds if she had to put it above her head. She just has no. Yeah,
but she didn't have. Her character wasn't required to do much.
But they gave her that arc. They showed her in both future and past, and then they gave her this strength that just felt bullshitty to me. I didn't feel she was a strong character.
I think it could have been done better.
It could have been done better by a better actress. She is not a strong actress.
Or it wasn't written strong enough, or something could have been tweaked to make it feel more appropriate. I just would have
recast it with someone who could do it, because there are excellent actresses out there who that they have femininity, they have a vulnerability, but they can also kick ass too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
you know who you left off your list of badass females? Gina Davis.
Oh, fuck yeah. Long Kiss Goodnight. Hell yeah. Who can forget that?
That motherfucking Hennessy boy.
Yeah, you can see her in like Accidental Tourist or any of the other films where she's just
Beetlejuice.
Oh my God. She's fantastic. But yeah, Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah, dude. Long Kiss Goodnight for a long time to me. You know who also has that? Fucking Milla Jovovich.
I just don't care for her. I'd rather see Julianne Moore, because I believe Julianne Moore has intensity. But
what about Ali Larter?
Yeah, she's just kind of boring to me. I mean, but
really?
she's close.
She can act, and she looks like tough.
It depends on the role, because I just like when she turned me off on that, like season 2 and 3 and 4 on Heroes. I just couldn't stand her anymore.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about that Ali Larter. I'm talking about a different Ali Larter.
Well, those Ali Larders are the reason why I don't watch any new Ali Larter. But I will say, we have seen excellent actresses do both vulnerable female. Like you're playing your typical damsel in distress, to then like total like John Wicky type female.
Oh, by the way,
kick ass.
Charlie's Angels made $8 million at the box office, and what's her name?
Shit.
And Elizabeth Banks is blaming superhero movies. What? I'm like, how about you just don't make Charlie's Angels?
How about just a bad fucking movie? It's a bad fucking movie.
Don't make a movie that nobody asked for.
Yeah.
And don't cast people nobody cared about.
No, and who can't even fucking pull it off.
Yeah. Jesus. So don't. But I just thought that. I mean, I don't wish ill will, but you had to have said, like, why did you not see that coming?
Yeah.
Nobody said, "Can I get some more Charlie's?" You would have. I was thinking to myself, you'd have been better off just calling this fabulous female kick-ass.
Yeah,
and you would have made more money.
I absolutely agree with you. If you're gonna follow a franchise, follow it up well. But if you're gonna ape a franchise, then just ape it. Just don't even say we're Charlie's Angels. Just call ourselves like Devil Girls or some shit. I don't give a fuck. It probably would have been better received.
Exactly. You have nothing to live up to at that point.
Absolutely.
So I think that's terrible. But so my major problem with the Terminator Dark Fate was the ill de-aging, that whole scene. I didn't work past that very well.
No, that didn't work at all. The whole futuristic portion of it didn't feel futuristic to me.
And I have two other little meh. And one of them is I don't know what the augments are or how they work.
Okay.
Like, all of a sudden she has a thermal detonator in her chest. Yeah. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
So...
And it also didn't seem like Oh, so
I
we
thought
could
it
take
was
someone
cool.
who was dying, and within a year's time, now they're an augmented.
I thought it was cool.
The tech was
I just
great.
wanted a little bit more. Like, I need more information.
I think this movie was supposed to give us just enough so that it could build
It
off of
did.
it later.
I think my
We're
curiosity
asking about it now, right?
My curiosity is what has me wanting to know more. They did fine,
Yeah.
but I want to know what the augments are, how they work. Why does she have to take diabetes medicine, and how does she have a fucking bomb in her chest? Like that kind of shit, or is it we'll never know? That way we can do whatever we want with it.
Right. I definitely think that it's interesting that she carries the only thing in her that can kill the thing, which is awesome.
I think that was just by happenstance. I don't know
Maybe,
that
but
it didn't
I
feel
think
like
that
that
would
was
have been
the design of it.
I think that would have been a better suicide mission goal. Like, in other words, I'm going back on a suicide mission to kill this thing because I've got the only thing in me that can do it. I think that would have been a better
I don't
motive,
like that, because then what if you get attached to her like we did, and then she's dead? Blah, blah, blah.
But we did. I mean, look, I loved her in this, and she's gone. And it was great to see Arnold again.
It was great to see Arnold again, and they worked that in. Like we're not going to see him again
Yeah, well,
in another movie.
at
I don't
least-
think.
I don't think we should. I honestly think they should just let the Terminator series
We
go
have to
on.
start doing new stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
make
look,
it so it's not. We're not.
We didn't have
expecting-
Arnold in the last Predator movie, and that movie worked out just fine. You know, well, I
God
know,
dang.
I know,
No,
but
fuck
I'm
it
just saying,
did
like,
not.
no Alien movie needs Ripley all the time. No Predator movie needs Arnold. No Terminator movie.
Predator
always
movie needs
Arnold.
Danny Glover. That's what they need. But no, so that's
I'm too old for your shit.
that's one of my things, and then my other one is the function of the new Terminator, the
was a little-
endoskeleton that doesn't look like it has all the pieces.
I think it would have been more interesting when they split if they were both a little weaker.
Well,
But
they were. I noticed that once they were split, the goo Terminator could be sliced through and broken,
Right.
and then he'd just have to re-goo himself up and then form and go.
But he seemed like he could still lift at the same capacity. In other words, like he could still destroy cars at the same capacity.
So my thing is, are those two separate beings?
Like, okay, so not one being that is separated itself, but two beings in
so
general.
it looks like I would like for some more explanation, because to me, if the goo comes off the skeleton, then the skeleton shouldn't be able to move, and the goo goes and does something and has to come back.
See, I thought-
or the skeleton goes and does something and the goo stays here.
I thought at
but I
first-
didn't think that both of them could make two fucking Terminators.
I thought at first the endoskeleton was just going to be like a frozen thing.
Yeah, he's
you
going
know,
to continue to drive while the
Yeah.
goo does all the work.
rather than being a full on active,
But that's not how they did it. They made it a full character.
I did like, though, I liked the idea of the fact that an endoskeleton could have the liquid on top of it.
Yes, I
as
did
a,
too.
As a super Terminator.
I just want some more, much like with the augmentation. I need more explanation,
Yeah.
because that Terminator or that endoskeleton, there's no top of his head, and where the brain goes is hollow.
Right.
And there's not enough moving parts. Like the endoskeleton for the Terminator, for Arnold's Terminator, has a lot of material there, whereas this Terminator is very just the essentials.
I think Gabriel Luna did a good job, though, too, to portray that, he is greater than the typical liquid Terminator.
I guess I didn't read that much nuance into it. But, I mean, he looked like a fucking guy running and tracking him down.
I will say I enjoyed it more than I really thought I did. In fact, talking about it now, I think I really enjoyed it more than I thought I did. Because I love the Terminator series.
Dude, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great shot of the goo monster and then the exoskeleton or the endoskeleton running into each other and then taking off.
That was pretty cool.
I liked that, but I need more explanation as to how that works.
Agreed. Well,
because they both shouldn't be able to think separately.
It did the job, though, right? We're asking questions that it wants us to ask.
Yeah,
that's the strength of a good story.
Well, I think it's a point where feed the beast a little bit. Tell me, oh my God, that's the new Terminator that has it's a dually, it's a twin, it's a Gemini,
right.
or some sort of thing to indicate.
Yeah, because they didn't act surprised about anything it did. I'm like, as we're like, oh,
you talking about the human people?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Well,
the goo man.
Even Sarah Connor didn't go like, Well, that's new.
It's not new to her. She saw T2. She saw the fucking...
yeah, but not the split. I'm
no,
saying,
but
like,
once you've seen a fucking gooey metal man, yeah. You're probably okay. But everybody else should. But overall, I had a great time with the movie.
The action sets, the first time, the two planes fighting each other, right? The two jumbo jets fighting each other. Fucking A. The dam scene, where we get a whole full-on
Terminator versus Terminator.
Pretty nice at the dam. I thought it was a great setting too. Really great setting.
I kind of wanted Arnold to give us the thumbs up again, but
I know we all did, but that would that would have been a bullshit move.
And then, the bullshit move was, I won't be back.
Yeah, that was
doo-doo.
I'm okay with that. Fucking A, that made me laugh. I just thought that was funny.
Because I won't be back.
But
I'm like, well, are you going to get to the chopper?
Okay, I'll bring up one other thing that is totally logistically fucking stupid. And this has happened in the last few months. I've seen this happen in a lot of television and movies. All right, underwater sequences where you're like, oh, I got to hold my breath. All right? Mm-hmm. Fucking Jurassic Park Fallen World had a scene like that. All right? This one had a major scene like that. No fucking human in distress can hold their breath for that fucking long and not choke in some water. All right? This thing went on for like 5 fucking minutes. Who can hold their breath for 5 minutes who wasn't already prepared for it? Nobody.
Yeah, in a high-stress situation.
High-stress situation, exactly. I don't know. For some reason, I know in movies, minutes last longer in some cases, but they also last much shorter. A 2-hour movie can last 30 days, 2 years. But if you're under fucking water, man, I mean, sorry. Give me a reasonable amount of breath time.
Yeah.
All right, but don't have a whole fucking sequence where because I'm like, you're already drowned. All right, you're already fucking dead. All right, you're fucking dead.
Boo, 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 boo. So the movie ends with both of our the Gabriel Luna's dead, or his Terminator is.
They found a way to kill him
because they took the thermal detonator out of the inside of Grace
and put it to his
which
brain.
Caused Grace to die and caused Gabriel Luna's Terminator to die, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's character is dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
he drags him down to that pit inside the dam. Which is, again, a good setting, a good physical metal setting for a great way to kill a Terminator.
Yeah. And then that just leaves us with Sarah and Danny that are still alive to carry on. So I imagine the next movie will be Sarah bringing Danny up to speed on how to fucking be a badass.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think we're going to get another movie, dude. They were supposed to do a television series with...
that's right. And then they said based on the low ticket sales...
They're not going to have
nothing.
Because a television series would have been a lot less expensive to do in even one season than,
you say that, but you haven't seen The Mandalorian.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
although,
damn.
All right, update. I came home the other night. My wife has purchased the Disney Channel.
All right.
So we are going to be watching The Mandalorian.
2 episodes so far.
I won't be able to see it until after I get back from Louisville. But another thing I want to bring up about Terminator, since we're going.
Yeah,
there,
I think. Well, if they did go up with the story, though, I think a good place to pick up if they were to ever do it is even if they did it like in comic book form or graphic novel form.
Even in book form, yeah.
Sarah Connor just trains the girl, the Danny. And then you can have that be a small sequence so that Sarah Connor's not in the rest of the movie. Like she passes on or
I'd like to see
whatever. But
here's how I feel the trilogy could end. If you were to give me an end,
trilogies.
Well, I know, but I'm saying if you're gonna give me
trilogy
by septilogy, here's how I think it as a Sarah Connor
story
arc. We make Sarah Connor the John Connor. In other words, all right, Skynet and Legion. Happen anyway, because we know the AI is going to happen anyway. Uh-huh. But Sarah Connor now is a hardened war veteran because of the death of her son, who is going to be taking Danny and all these people, hardening them to beat Skynet. She's been fighting Skynet all these years.
So Danny's going to have to protect Sarah.
So now Sarah is the one that people want to go
She could be in like a rascal.
It brings it back full circle.
She'll be in like a little scooter and we're like, get that old bitch out of here. I'm laying down cover fire.
And so at the end, all right, maybe they don't kill Skynet, but maybe they figure out a way to either coexist or like we're always going to be fighting. But then we see the Arnold Terminator be sent back in time to go kill Sarah Connor. And that's how we end that movie. You know, we end that movie because that's really a vicious cycle. That way all the movies work, okay?
That does fucking complete it.
You know, we let Sarah Connor die in her final film.
Yeah, and then you say and Arnold went back and let's kill her before then.
Yeah, and so and it ends basically with them sending an Arnold back to get Sarah Connor.
That would be pretty cool, man.
And then
That's
it puts everything back. You know,
I like where your head's at,
so
sir.
Is
that what you were going to say before I cut you off?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you got it off.
I cut you off too, fucking A.
I know. I just wanted to make sure that you got the thought out. I wasn't sure if that had sparked a new thought or if that was what you were originally going to say.
No. Because look, fans are going to beat everything to death, whether for good and for bad. I think the greatest thing about art is that everybody's opinion is valid, you know. And unfortunately, what we get on screen or what is actually finished in book or comic book or movie is what we get. That's what we get. We have to look at it and say, well, we didn't like Sam Worthington, but that's what we got.
If this movie does well in home release, like let's just say that it's one of those movies that didn't do well at the box office, but when it came out on DVD, everybody scooped it up and bought it, and it's got this huge following. Like they'd have to just do, I think maybe if that were the case, they could do like a low budget sequel. Like it would have to be a little less CGI and stuff, and then we might get one.
Okay, I got another cherry popper. I want to get this out. Here's the other way. Here's another thing you end this movie in. All right. You make Arnold Schwarzenegger, old Arnold Schwarzenegger, a mad scientist who creates Skynet. All right, and he's such a egotistic,
so vain.
Yeah, he's so vain. He makes a Terminator as his young self. You know, like he models
fucking
the Terminator.
Rick and Morty style.
Yeah, you make him a bad guy. All right, because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So you end this movie. He's like, oh, going to send me back. I'm going to kill her, you know. And you let him talk as
I like your first one better. This one sounds cheese.
Well, no, you add that too. It's all part of the ending. He dies. You know, Sarah Connor actually dies, or maybe they kill each other. You know, that'd be awesome. But he's made a Terminator in his image, and that's what all the Terminators will look like him.
Overall, I had a good time with this movie.
Me too.
I keep my fingers crossed that there will be a sequel. And I also keep my fingers crossed that more people that will be exposed to this. Like, I think more Terminator fans need to see this movie and realize that it's pretty fucking awesome.
And I will say, I think what we should do is entitle this episode Terminator Dark Fate is fucking awesome. And that way people have to listen because everybody looks at the numbers and they assume, oh, I heard it's bad. I heard it's terrible. You know, without fucking seeing it. See it yourself and either not like it or like it.
I'll title it, Brian and JR like Terminator 2.
No.
Or Terminator 3.
You gotta say love.
I'm not, love as an 8? Well, I guess I'm, okay.
I said 8.5, bitch.
All right, you said 8, I said 8.5.
You said 7.5.
No, I said Amos said 7.
Oh, he said 7. No, I'm going 8.5. I said hard.
You said 8.
I said
8.5.
You're going to listen to this fucking thing. You're going to know that I said 8.5.
Well, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Let us know your thoughts. And please continue to listen to the podcast and tell your fucking friends. Thank you guys. We're going to keep doing what we do. You guys stay creative.